pain. So no, the goal is not to squash pain. It's to be able to smile while you're facing it. It's be able to, while you're in that pain, you're like, hey, what am I learning with this? Well, where is this going to take me? Or
Is that still
where is
pain though?
this?
Might be like a philosophical question, but back to that pain is relative. If you're able to smile through it, and I know you're using that just as like an example, but like if you're able to take positive and see positive in it, by definition, does it no longer become pain?
It is pain, but it becomes spiritual.
Hmm.
So when someone, I've had a heartbreak a few years ago and I felt physical pain. So I had to walk away from this relationship, and I decided that that was what I needed to do. But I had physical pain. So I had pain at the front and at the back. It felt like a stab for a week. It literally was physical. The thing is, over me working through it on my own, it now became something that it became energy. So you
Hmm.
go into when someone is going through the same situation, which I actually faced a few months after, someone going to the same through the same situation I was, and I was feeling it because I was working through it. I didn't receive it as pain. I didn't remember as pain, as that physical pain. I remember it as energy, that yes, it was not negative anymore, but it was still hurts. You're always gonna hurt. Your trauma is always gonna hurt, but it didn't hurt that physical. So maybe, yeah,
Hmm.
it minimizes it. It teaches you how to deal with the stab, the punch of the pain, because I think that's what causes a trauma. I believe that that's what exactly what causes a trauma, because you just like don't know what to do anymore
Hmm.
as soon as you get the punch.
Hmm.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's I don't know how to, because this is so timely and relevant for me. A couple months ago, I hurt my shoulder really badly, like maybe one of the worst injuries I've had. And I found myself thinking about pain a lot in a very literal way. And I was
Yeah.
trying to observe it and think about like it's so unnatural for the body. That was the sensation I kept feeling. Like all my body, my mind wanted to do was to relieve that pain, because it's such an unnatural state for us to be. And the only thing I could think about was make that pain go away. And maybe that's in like a very pure form. And I don't have a
Yeah.
conclusion here. I'm trying to think back to how you're explaining it in that last answer. Like if you connect that to more psychological pain or emotional pain, is it the same thing? Is there a sense of it where it's unnatural for us? We don't want it, and we just want to get rid of it. And I hear what you're saying. You're saying like, no, 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 swim in it a little bit, process it, take what you can from it. But I'm trying to bring that back to the physical pain. Like with that shoulder injury, was there anything to take from that? Or is that like in its purest form, maybe of pain, physical pain like that? Is there anything to be taken from that? Or is that just no, heal it, fix it as soon as we can? Because that seems what our bodies want to do. They want to just
Yeah.
alleviate that pain and get rid of it and get back to a steady state. So I know that's kind
Oh,
of a big jumble there, but does any of that connect to what you
no,
were
yeah.
saying?
So you think that it's a natural to, do you think there's a possibility that that could be, it's a natural to process pain, or do you think we were naturally programmed to just get rid of it and not think about it? Sorry, I'm asking you questions now.
I think no, it's a good question. I'm glad you're clarifying because it's helping me clarify. I think perhaps at our base form, and maybe it's primal from when we were cavemen or whatever, that pain is something that our body processes as it happens for sure. We know it's
Like a
going to happen,
virus,
like a
like
virus, like whatever. But the
get
main
out. Yeah.
objective is to get rid of it. Like get rid. We don't want that pain and discomfort. And as we've developed consciousness, and now there's emotional and psychological pain, our
Yes.
immediate
Yeah.
reaction is to treat it like pain we did when we were cavemen. Get rid of it, fix it, make it go away. But what you're saying is like as part of that evolution, we need to handle that pain different. We can't treat it like we would a physical pain that we just want
Yeah.
to alleviate. We need to handle it with like more nuance because it is more nuanced. It is more complex of how it plays out. Again,
Yeah,
I'm kind
because
of
it
just
affects,
going. Yeah.
because physical pain is localized, so it does affect certain things that you have to do on a day-to-day basis. It depends on the injury, but emotional pain, trauma affects you for actions for years.
Mhm.
It changes your personality, it changes the way you act at things, it changes your habits, it changes the way you eat, it changes the way you take on life. So and that's the reason of so much trauma, is the reason not dealing with trauma properly or not being acknowledged and grow from it. It's so essential to grow from the trauma that it's not dealt with. So one thing is you deal with the trauma and then you just talk about it. You just talk
Mhm.
about it. Just talk about, okay, what's, there's a reason. If people are into spirituality, there's a reason that you can find that why you gone through that trauma. It made you stronger. Um, like, some songs say this is what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So it is the same as, as a physical pain, you have to train a lot to run a marathon, and I remember a friend of mine, she runs the marathon here, and she was going for training all the time, and I was like, how can you do it, like how can you keep going? And she says, your body naturally will find you the pace, and that's what you got to find your pace.
Mm,
And some people will think they're going to win, or it's not about the winning in a marathon, it's about your journey in a marathon. And keep your body healthy until then. Is the journey to that goal to do it. And I think there is also lack of goals. If you have lack of goals, you don't have the motivation to change or to
mm,
treat your trauma or to
mm,
treat your pain. Even physically, you if you have an injury, you have an excuse to stay at home. Like, we don't have an excuse. You have a perfect excuse to stay at home and not go to work and face people. So most people have anxiety now, social
mm,
anxiety,
mm,
stress, so they rather just stay home. And as we see, we have we have mental health disorders that allows you to stay home now, and physical problems that allows you to stay home for a few days because you had an injury. So they're very much related. It's very much what you said. I think it kind of makes sense, but I don't think it's a natural. I think we humans, we need training all the time.